Well, he's not going to Memphis or Milwaukee. We know that at this point.
He mentioned Cleveland in there, too.
Damien, today is the first day for the Baltimore Ravens voluntary workout because they have a new head coach, Jesse Minter. They start early. Will Lamar be there in your mind? And if he's not, does it say anything?
I mean, it just seems like the tea leaves saying he's not going to be there. I don't know, but I just think it's so important for him to be there. Anyone who says like the off-season program doesn't mean anything it's a bunch of BS. It all means something. Mm-hmm. Okay, and when you're talking about all the change that's going on with the Ravens organization, from the head coach to a 29-year-old first-year play caller and Declan Doyle, I need my guy in the building.
And Declan Doyle said as such publicly.
I need him in the building because guess what? At the end of the day, there's no more fingers to be pointed somewhere else. Now it's you. Like, you won the power struggle with John Harbaugh. It's on you now, Lamar. And all of these things in the offseason, they count. Like, you can't dismiss it like it's no big deal. No, it counts being around your teammates, doing all the little things and all the reps and OTAs.
Can I ask a question, all three of you? Small, I'll start with you on this.
Okay.
The fact that we're having this conversation, I love Lamar. Is it a knock on Lamar that we're even having this conversation?
Well,
we're asking Damien about this?
Well, let me defer to my two teammates here who played at the highest level in the NFL.
And CeCe.
You mean one of the champions on this set? To me, there's no negative to going to these voluntary workouts and being there with your team. Why would Lamar be so averse to it?
Go ahead, CeCe.
Well, I mean, I think that Lamar is looking at it from the standpoint of trying to exert maximum leverage on the organization. So this is a situation where he hasn't really been in communication with him all offseason. They had to unilaterally restructure his contract. This is about Lamar wanting to exert maximum pressure on the organization to give him everything that he's looking for. So, yeah, ideally you would like to have him in the building. But the reality is that he's going to take his time and enjoy his offseason, which is, legally his right under the collective bargaining agreement, and he'll show up for the mandatory part.
Sure. So this year I can understand that. But in years past, he's also not been there for a lot of these voluntary workouts. And I would think now that there is a power shift there, that if my OC publicly said, I need everybody to be at all of these events. We are trying to build something, and we don't have a lot of time to do it. That if he doesn't show up, that could be interpreted in a negative way.
Well, if his OC is as good at his job as Lamar is at his job, then they ain't going to have no problem winning a championship.
Well, there you go.
He's
That's
the
a pretty good counter.
Three-time first-team All-Pro. Like, those guys don't grow on trees, especially a guy that's in his 20s still. So, yeah, I get why Declan Doyle would want Lamar Jackson there. But Declan Doyle, do something as an offensive coordinator in this league before you start calling me to the front of the congregation.
Damien, should he be there?
I just think that if you're, with all the change in Baltimore, I just don't think it's the best to look if your quarterback's not there.
Agreed.
That's just the way I feel about it. Lamar Jackson is certainly within his right to, do whatever he wanted. Obviously, the offseason program isn't mandatory outside of mandatory minicamp, but I just think if you're looking at the bigger picture, with the shortcomings of the Baltimore Ravens in the postseason and Lamar Jackson's shortcomings in the playoffs, that let's get this new thing off on the right foot here.
The thing that I don't get is the unnecessary stress. I know, CeCe, you always say, hey, healthy workplace friction, not a pyramid of success joke, is a good thing.
Yes.
This is not healthy workplace friction. This is unhealthy lack of communication. I mean, there's been reported, Damien, they can't get a hold of him. And this is maybe where the lack of a true agent, I'm not trying to dismiss his mother, who is supposedly amazing and great at representing her son, but they have nobody to complain to.
But here's the thing, even when you don't talk, you send a message. And I think Lamar Jackson is sending a message, and he has been sending a message ever since the contract negotiations on the current extension that he's on went left. Remember when he wanted the fully guaranteed contract on the heels of Deshaun Watson's deal in Cleveland, and the Baltimore Ravens wouldn't give it to him? Well, this is Lamar Jackson exerting that leverage over the franchise. He did it in ousting John Harbaugh, and now he's doing it to the front office and Eric DeCosta. And if they don't give him what he's looking for contractually, or he wants to wait until next offseason where he has even more leverage, then that is his right to do so. And Lamar is not in any hurry to do anybody in Baltimore any favors. And we could be talking about something, guys, where the relationship between Lamar and the franchise is as such, where Lamar is just biding his time. Because let's remember, after 2027, Lamar Jackson can walk into free agency unencumbered. That means no team has to trade for him because the Baltimore Ravens can't franchise tag him.
So that's 2 seasons?
That's 26, 27. After those 2 years, the last years on his contract, Lamar Jackson can walk into free agency as a young 30-something quarterback that has multiple MVPs and multiple first-team All-Pro nods.
So then based on that, Damien Woody, do you believe that Lamar Jackson will finish his career as a Raven?
That's crazy. I'm going to venture out and say no. I don't think Lamar Jackson will finish his career with the Baltimore Ravens.
Do you, CC?
I mean, I think this can be really fascinating. As a matter of fact, I think it could be setting up for something that we've never seen before in the NFL.
Which is?
Which is Lamar Jackson letting it be known that he's not signing an extension with Baltimore. And that might not happen until after this season. But letting it be known and forcing the Ravens to deal him before the start of 2027. That's how much leverage Lamar Jackson is going to have going into the next offseason. He'll have that much power. Wow. So this is a very complex situation that the Ravens are trying to navigate with a brand new head coach that had never done the job before. So good luck to them. But Declan Doyle, Jesse Minter, they have to be very careful in terms of how they handle this thing, because you want Lamar Jackson to be an ally for what you're trying to do in terms of establishing your program with the Ravens. And right now, it doesn't feel like they've set the stage for that to be the case.
Well, speaking of complicated relationships between an organization and a quarterback, Damien, we haven't spoken to you since the Jalen Hurts article dropped at ESPN.com. Very curious to get your interpretation about the picture that was painted of Jalen Hurts in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a guy that's had multiple offensive coordinators. I don't know what I can't remember the exact
10,
number.
I think it's like a 10 and 10.
It's every year.
It's something crazy. I think that when you talk about the rigidness, here's the thing that's crazy about Jalen Hurts, and it's all about perspective. Because when Kellen Moore was there, when they won the Super Bowl, it was always about, the narrative was, well, he never gets too high, he never gets too low. He's just been that guy that's always been the same no matter what ebbs and flows that happens throughout the season. But then the very next year, they don't win. Now this is a guy that's standoffish. He doesn't get along with his teammates, doesn't like change in the offense. He's not very adaptable to, receptive to some of the things that, the coaches want to do offensively. It's just funny to me how the narratives change depending on what happens with the success of the organization.
Can I ask you a question? Is he more Russell Wilson, or is he more is Jalen Hurts more Russell Wilson, or is he more Tom Brady?
I would go more Russell Wilson. I think. Listen, at the end of the day, if we put together a list of quarterbacks, all the top quarterbacks, where do you think Jalen Hurts will fall right now? Would he be in your top 10?
He would for me.
I ain't gonna say he's not top 10. We know how that went for me.
I'm just saying.
I ain't doing that again.
There are some people who think yes. There's some people who he wouldn't even be in their top 10.
Yeah,
as
if
far
I look
as
at
quarterbacks.
if I look at his fingers, I see a ring, and I could make the argument there should be another one based on his play the first time. I can't forget that.
I
can't forget that.
But there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who disagree with you.
I know. I more to disagree than agree. That's for sure. All right, we gotta get Damien over to Get Up and SportsCenter here.